good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. Right after I made my PRV replacement or add-on video, I used my rigid copper tube and cutter, and I also saw that Milwaukee had a sale on there, so I wanted to compare them. I made this right after Home Depot made their sale not too long ago, and it's still available, so I will leave a link in the description to the Milwaukee. I did pay full price for the rigid. There's just no sale for it, but we will see. Price does matter, but it's not as important as the fact that the original time that I made this video, which was right after Thanksgiving, I lost all the audio to the video, so if you could appreciate my efforts in recreating this, I'd greatly appreciate that. If you like it, subscribe, and if you don't, still subscribe. Come on. But I was recently replacing a crappy plastic rubber supply line. See the flange on this? Disgusting. And that's why I don't like cheap parts. If you're gonna, use a toilet for 10 years, good parts. Everything else just anyway, replace that supply line. And so I thought, you know what, rather than just scrapping the video, I'm going to come back. I still have the video, I just don't have the audio. So, as per tool technicals, being too technical is what this channel is about. So I made a little list of all the things that I find pretty important about this product. And right now, the first thing we're going to see is I'm going to clean off some copper. Because there are a couple of things that I wanted to debunk. Mainly, the Milwaukee was getting a really bad rep. I don't like to listen to people. I like to see action and outcomes and objective information that I can record. So the first thing that I want to debunk is whether or not the Milwaukees are able to only cut 3 or 4 times, and then you have to replace the blade. If that's the case, that sucks. So let's see how many times they can cut. So as you saw, and as I counted for you, just in case you missed it, we got about 8 cuts. That's what I did for the Milwaukee. Again, I am using 1/2 inch for both of these. There's no real reason for me to use 3/4 inch and 1 inch. It's the same amount of rotations. It's just thicker diameter material. But again, it's the same hardness, same everything. The Milwaukee takes about 4.5. So 4.5 spins, I should say, in order to cut through 1/2 inch copper. No issues, and definitely still sharp enough to keep going. So the first thing is, can it cut more than 3 or 4 times before being changed? Yes. So that nonsense is debunked. The next thing people were talking about was whether or not the spring was going bad, and people were saying that they had issues with getting the copper cutter onto the pipe or getting it off, or that it would slip. And from what I've seen in videos, there were people that had issues with it kind of slipping off, and I did have that where it would go slightly limp and it just wouldn't grab the pipe even if I struggled to get it on and get it back off. So there was a bit of issue with it was a bit finicky, but the reason was that people need to understand that there's a direction on these, and I'm going to show that really quick. So again, I do have them with me. This isn't just a voiceover and nothing cheap, right? But with the tubing cutters, you can see that there is a direction of how you're supposed to spin this. If you spin in the opposite direction, it will cause these to go loose and not cut, because the tool basically thinks you're trying to back off to remove it. So again, regardless whether you're using the 1 inch or the 3/4 inch, they all have a direction. So if you're not going in the direction, and again, same thing for the rigid does also have the arrow pointing in the direction that this cuts. If you're not doing what the tool's asking, don't be surprised if it's not going to do what you want it to do. With that being said, I did the 1/2 inch cuts. This, I did 8 cuts, and it took about 4.5 to 5 spins in order to get it through the material. With the RIDGID, we got 8 spins, 7.5 to 8 spins. With the RIDGID, with the 1/2 inch. So we're going to go through a couple of things, just things that you might care for, and that is speed, accuracy, design, ease of use or function, price, warranty, and then I'll send you on your way. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Sound good? Now with speed, like I said, 4.5 spins with the Milwaukee, 8 spins with the RIDGID. Would you want the faster one? Go Milwaukee, no question. It is what it is. If you're looking to make money and you have to just go, then the Milwaukee's for you. But that brings me to the next section, which is which one cuts better. Now, I'm going to leave a little video right here so you can see it. Yeah, so if you look closely, a lot of these rough chops, again, leaving an inner bevel, like it's not cutting fully all the way through. It's not horrible. It can be fixed with a reaming pen. But for that reason, just spending less time doing this is worth the extra, 3 extra spins. But the Milwaukees do leave about a 32nd of a bevel on most of the cuts. Like every other cut or every 2 cuts, it's going to leave that little 32nd. So you do need to get your reaming pen in there and, go through. Or you can use your reaming tool, whichever one. Husky, RIDGID, Reed, I don't care which one you use. There's no links, no affiliation, no nothing. You use whatever you want to use, whatever you can afford. But you're going to need to ream each one anyways. But as far as which one's going to save you more time, the RIDGID is definitely the straighter cut. So in terms of accuracy, I mean, you saw in the video with the PRV, that thing left a juicy straight cut. So for the RIDGID, if you're looking for less bevel, less, reaming and straighter cuts, then go for the RIDGID. If you're looking for which one's quicker because you're going to ream it anyways, then Milwaukee's for you. So for speed, we give a point to Milwaukee, and for better cut / accuracy, we're going to give a point to RIDGID. Now we're going to give a little bit of zoom in action, and the reason is we have to talk about design. Now when we talk about design, we have to talk about the fact that the RIDGID only comes in a standard packaging. You cut it out and that's all you get, right? And the Milwaukee comes with a case. You get your 1/2 inch, your 3/4 inch, and your 1 inch. You have a spot, zoom in action, where you can actually put your replacement blades should you need to replace these blades in the future. With that being said, you also get a spot for your Milwaukee reaming pen. Normally, it doesn't come with a reaming pen. With this little kit that I bought, they did throw one in for 40 bucks. So $12 below retail price, and you get the reaming pen for 40 bucks, 41, whatever. But that's cool. Again, with this is all you get. But at the same time, as far as design, you are getting the 1/2 inch with the 3/4. So this is 3/4, drop it down, now it's 1/2 inch. You need to switch it back, just hold it upside down and just pull the spring back. So it's spring loaded. So both have their design, both very nice. Now as far as the Milwaukee, let's look really close. You see these little slits? These are weeping holes. So if you happen to be cutting into a pressurized line and you get a bunch of water forced in, a lot of people are going to sit there and try to shake their tools out, get as much of the water out as possible. This, regardless of how you lay it, is going to try to get the most water out. And I think that was awesome that they do that, because you don't want to leave your springs, your springs, your rollers, or your blades just submerged in water or chilling with water on them, because then they start to prematurely rust. With that being said, on the RIDGID, there are no weep holes. There's only the hole where your blade is and the hole where the spring is. And then on the other side, again, the same cutout for the spring, but no hole over here. So it's more ideal for you to hold it with the side that doesn't have the word RIDGID on it. The plain side has at least 2 openings where you can kind of lay it down and get the water out. So as far as which one gets water out easier, I'd have to say the Milwaukees. However, again, this category is for design. So check right there. You see these slits in the back? one on the top, one in the center, one on the bottom. These are meant, let me just grab a screwdriver. These are meant to give you more leverage if you happen to be in a tight spot. Any little spudger or little pry tool will allow you to get more leverage if you're in a tight spot, or if you're in a spot that you can't quite reach but you can get this in. So both of them have good design as far as what they're made for. So I'm going to give 1 point for design to both of them. Now, as far as ease of use, a lot of people think which one's going to make me more money, but if you are more comfortable with your tools, they will over time make you more money because you are comfortable using them. They're going to get the job done better because you're comfortable. For that one, I have to give the point to RIDGID. Not only is it easier, and I'm going to try to put a little picture of them side by side, or a little video actually, the MILWAUKEE takes significantly more force to get onto a pipe. Actually, let me just in real time show you. So if I take a pipe right here and I grab the 1/2 inch, this is 1/2 inch copper, right? If I try to pop this on, you have to like really get it on. But with the RIDGID, let me just drop it down to 1/2 inch. If I pop the RIDGID on, it's that simple. So as far as ease of use, 100%, the RIDGID is not only easier to get on, but also it's easier to get off. So if you spin in the opposite direction, because you don't want to lock it in, you can snap it backward and it comes off. With the MILWAUKEE, because it has a much stronger spring, yes, it's going to cut faster, but also when it comes to getting it off, you have to put a noticeably stronger amount of force, or noticeably higher amount of force. And you'll see the witness mark from the MILWAUKEE, but there's no mark, again, all the way around where the RIDGID is, but you can see where the MILWAUKEE was. So if you have to, for whatever reason, reposition your pipe to cut a little more, cut a little less, the RIDGID's going to do that, and just general use, it's going to be good with the RIDGID. So for ease of use / function, RIDGID, easy disconnect and easy connections. We got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is price. For MILWAUKEE, you get the case. You get the 1/2 inch, the 3/4 inch, and the 1 inch. Again, you don't get any extra blades. You don't get the reaming pen normally. So at normal price, this retails for $60 plus whatever your tax or delivery is. $60, no reaming pen. With the reaming pen, $8, $9, $10, so you're looking at about $70, but let's assume, forget about the pen. Right now, $40. That's awesome. This is also $40. The RIDGID is $40, but you don't get the 1 inch. Unfortunately, if you want the 1 inch, which will be a dedicated 1 inch cutter, just like this, it's another $30. Yikes. So $70 for RIDGID to get all 3 sizes, and $60 with MILWAUKEE, and you get a case. You know, which one would you want normally? I'd say this, but at $40, where you also get the reaming pen, this is a much better value. So out of the box, open it up, and with the reaming pen, you're all set to go. You need nothing else. It's all right here. With the RIDGID, if you're not using a reaming pen, you will have to, you know, if you're going all in on RIDGID, this is their, goes up to inch and a quarter reamer. So, you know, this is what you're going to have to walk around with. One of these and 2 of these, just in your bucket, in your bag. If you like the RIDGID stuff, and obviously, you know, I like RIDGID, their plumbing stuff is just, it's reliable and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Lifetime warranties. Again, I cannot say anything bad about RIDGID's plumbing tools. They get the job done. But again, we have to be objective here. So in terms of price and value at this point, I would have to give the point to MILWAUKEE. And the final point has to go for coverage. It doesn't matter how good it is today. How good is it going to be in 1 year, in 10 years, if something should fail on it? They both have lifetime warranties. Again, the MILWAUKEE has a limited lifetime warranty. Limited lifetime warranty. Still good, but RIDGID does offer a full lifetime warranty. So take it for what it is. Again, Husky offers lifetime warranties with theirs. I like to know that I'm covered now and forever, so that I'm not spending my money on the little things. I can support the company in, you know, replaceable blades, attachments, accessories, and other tools that I'm going to need. So if warranty and coverage is an issue for you, I have to give a point to both because they both offer it. So just to tally those up for you, we have a point for Milwaukee for speed, a point for better cutting / accuracy to Rigid. For design, they both get a point. For ease of use or function, we give it to Rigid. For price, we give it to Milwaukee. And for a warranty, we give it to both. That leaves it with 4 points for each, meaning it is a tie. And one more point goes to both of them because they both have replaceable blades available from Rigid and from Milwaukee. I can't tell you how many tools go to the trash because people think it's a one and done kind of use. Like after you make 10, 20, 30, 50 cuts, throw it in the trash. No, if your tools is still okay, just sell me the blades. So point to both. And that would still leave them at 5 points evenly matched. Both of these offer great value for what they are. If you trust the long 100-year anniversary, 100+ years of plumbing tools from Rigid, then go for what's tried and true. Otherwise, Milwaukee is really saturating the market. You can tell because if you look at the Klein section at Home Depot, that thing is almost dead, and it's been completely overrun by red tools. Milwaukee is making their way with their hand screwdrivers, their hammers, their hand tools in general, their electrical tools, plumbing tools. Milwaukee's really getting in there, and they're making their money. Whether or not they're as good as what they're replacing, that's debatable. But me personally, I'd have to say my personal choice, again, take it with a grain of salt. My personal choice, even though I own them both and I will use them both, I like the fact that the Rigid gives a straighter cut. And something that, of course, does technically fall under design, but this is more of a one-off thing. The Milwaukees are plastic, and they have like a sharper kind of dinosaur back type of zoom in action. They have like a dinosaur back type of, really textured, so it really helps with that forward motion. While the Rigid has kind of a blocky, squared off type of design. And both of them are really good. This one feels a lot higher quality. It's just really, really solidly built. Some people were saying that their Milwaukees were cracking and snapping. I don't know if they're hitting them with cars or dropping them off a roof, but I don't feel like this is flexing in my hands as I squeeze on it. Like it's pretty solid for being plastic as well. So again, if you like a more solid, heavier tool, this one's definitely your pick for the Rigid. If you like something lightweight where you can throw it around, comes in a case and all that, grab the Milwaukee. My personal pick, get both of them. So I truly can't pick a true winner. The Milwaukee does offer way more bang for your buck, if you want to call it that, at $40 coming with the reaming pen. If you happen to see this on sale for $40, I'd say grab these. But if you can find the Rigids on sale, good luck. Grab these. I would honestly recommend having both of them. If you need something quicker, if you need something cleaner, this is my pick. It's more robust. I feel like it's higher quality, and the lifetime warranty, you can't go wrong with it. My only issue is I wish it had more weep holes, because if you look in here, you can see the spring got kind of gunked up, and just like the blade as well. You get that natural gooey buildup that just happens, right? So definitely wish that the Rigid had the weep holes from the Milwaukee, and I definitely wish that the Milwaukee was easier to get on and off of pipes while still having that speed. Some people were saying that, why can't I use it with PEX? These are people that should not have tools. Let me show you why. For the people that were leaving a comment saying, why can't I use this to cut PEX, or it sucks at cutting PEX? This is 1/2 inch, red PEX. Color doesn't matter, right? It snaps on. It is here. I'm with you so far. But when you cut this, plastic, unlike copper or black steel or stainless steel, plastic loses its integrity as you cut through it. It will bend and contort, especially PEX. It's anyway. So if I'm cutting the PEX, again, no gimmicks here. There's no editing, no nothing. As I start to cut, there's going to be a finite amount of time or depth that I can go into this before it will just spin forever. Like right now, I still feel a little bit of resistance, but once that resistance is gone, you just have a really deep score, and you're still not all the way through the material. Because the spring in here cannot hold tension to something that's already gone limp. A pipe is metal. It will keep that pressure until it snaps off. But no matter how much, there's no longer any tension here. It's just free spinning. So if I take it off, yeah, so right now it's dug in. So I have to kind of snap at an angle. And yes, you will have to give this a bit of a chamfer anyway if you're installing like shark bites or whatever. But it's not what it's built for. Like, you're going to have to score it and then snap it. And that's what it's going to be. And a really quick plumbing thing. If you're going to be installing shark bites, they have a new depth gauge for the Shark Bite Max versus the original. But you going into 1/2 inch, you want to make sure that you are spinning this with a chamfer tool. So give it about 10 spins or so, maybe a little bit less depending on how bad the cut is. And this little chamfer that's on the pipe, that little taper, is going to allow the seal to kind of bite to it. So if you happen to be using shark bites, please make sure that you are chamfering the edges all the way around. You want to make sure that none of these burrs or any of these sharp pieces can hang up and allow that seal to, go bad on you. So which one do I feel is better value? I'd have to say right now, and I will leave a link in the description to it, the MILWAUKEEs with the reaming pen in a case, ready to go. I say great value there. I'd say the RIDGID, definitely a nice, hardy, solid tool. I don't feel like I could break this. You would really have to beat the crap out of this to break it. So as far as durability, I personally like heavier duty tools. Again, the MILWAUKEEs are made with a plastic frame, so just like the Fastback or any other MILWAUKEE tool, if you hit it hard enough, it is plastic, you will break them. Don't use them as pry tools, just use them the way they were intended to do, and they should last you a lifetime, even plastic. So, which one would I go for? Buy both. I now own both. I'm going to use both. Whichever one breaks first, I'll let you know, but ultimately, they both have lifetime warranties, so you're covered. You have yourself an excellent day. Happy late Thanksgiving. If you're watching this in the same time that I'm uploading it, Merry Christmas. It's in a few days. You have yourself an excellent night or day or afternoon, and work smart. Have yourself an excellent day. Stay smart. Stay smart?